Conflict is inevitable. Combat is optional. That's a quote that I really like by Max Lucado because I think that it reminds us that in relationships, fighting is normal. All couples disagree and argue and go through difficult times. It's not so much that you fight that's an issue, it's how you fight. If you're familiar with the Gottman Institute, you've probably heard of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which illustrates 4 communication styles that couples tend to fall into when they argue. The first is criticism, the second is defensiveness, the third is stonewalling, and the fourth is contempt. If you figure out what your conflict style is, then you can start to work through better and healthier ways to disagree with your partner. But today, I'm going to give you 3 specific tips on what you can do the next time you have conflict in your relationship. The first thing is to focus on your partner's behaviors. A lot of times when we're really upset, we might start to make comments about their character and use a lot of extreme language like you always and you never, and essentially make them feel bad about who they are rather than what they did. So I often like to encourage my couples to focus specifically on what it is that they did that bothered them and what they can do differently. The second thing I want you to do is articulate your feelings. A lot of times we get so fixated on what our partner has done and why it's wrong and why it's bad and why they should do it differently without addressing the elephant in the room, how it made us feel. When we speak from a place of, I feel overwhelmed, I feel sad, I feel left out, I feel disrespected, that gives our partner insight into why the thing bothered us. And then we can actually figure out where to go from there. And then the third thing I want you to do is make a specific request. It's only so useful to know what your partner did and how it made you feel, but what is the opportunity for growth from here? So I often tell people, figure out what your partner could have done differently and then lay that out there for them, not as a demand, but rather a request. So, for example, when you flirt with other women at the bar in front of me, it makes me feel small, it makes me feel disrespected, and it makes me feel really uncomfortable. Do you think it's possible that the next time we go out, I have no problem that you are friends with women and that you are a warm, gregarious person, but I would prefer that you not touch them while you talk to them because that usually communicates romantic interest and that makes me feel really awkward. That's just an example of how I identified their behavior, I articulated my feelings, and then I made a specific request for what they could do the next time. Of course, this is easier said than done, and when you're in the middle of a big fight, you might not be able to access these kinds of organized thoughts as easily. But the more you get into the habit of doing behaviors, feelings, request, you will find that it serves as a really powerful template to get to the root of what's bothering you rather than launching into personal attacks and having the conflict escalate to the point that it's no longer productive. So try that the next time you and your partner get into an argument and see if it works for you.